Today in the Just Stock studio, we're once again joined by Alex Underwood from the newly named Beetaloo Energy Australia. Welcome back, Alex.
G'day, John. Great to be back.
Well, first of all, the name change and the rebranding. Please take investors through the key points.
Certainly. So our company was called Empire Energy for many years. That reflected a focus on gas production assets we had in New York State, which is known as the Empire State. But, since I joined the company 7.5 years ago, we decided that our focus would be on the Beetaloo Basin. We've sold off our US assets, and the name change that just took effect today on the ASX, actually, with the new ticker BTL, really reflects our company's core focus on developing this incredible world-class resource in the Northern Territory.
So investors are awaiting the stimulation of Carpentaria. What are the next key steps and timelines?
Certainly. So we actually just started the fracture stimulation of Carpentaria-5H only a couple of days ago, a very exciting development for our company. This is the biggest fracture stimulation job done in Australian history. It's the first time that a 3-kilometre well, horizontal well in the Beetaloo Basin will be fracture stimulated. So the process of stimulation will take around 4 weeks. Then we'll do a period of initial cleanup where you bring back some of the fluids that you've injected, and then there's a period of what we call soaking. So you just let the well sit, shut in and to settle down. And then after that, we'll do a 30-day flow test with results expected in September. So we're in a very active and news flow heavy environment.
And Alex, why did you choose Halliburton to conduct the stimulation campaign?
Yeah, so Halliburton is one of the world's largest oilfield services company. It's actually just now they're celebrating their 75th anniversary of providing fracture stimulation services for the industry. So they have a very long track record and great expertise. They are very keen to demonstrate their bona fides in this basin after a long period of providing similar services to other companies around Australia over many, many years. And so they really bring, world-leading expertise. I should note, though, that we also have Liberty Energy active in the basin. They are one of our investors, and they are also providing stimulation services. Bringing these major US services providers into the basin is a game changer for this industry. We need significant equipment available to us to fracture stimulate these large wells, and so we are delighted with the equipment being brought and the support being shown.
Alex, for investors who are new to the story, how does the Beetaloo Basin compare to other basins globally?
Yeah, so this is what's called a shale gas basin. So it's gas contained in shales. Historically, the industry has known that shales contain enormous quantities of oil and gas. And it was only really in the last 20 years in the United States that shale gas development commenced as a commercial proposition due to the advent of horizontal drilling and large-scale fracture stimulation. It's transformed the US energy sector, as a number of our investors know. I think about 2/3 of US gas production comes from shales now at incredibly low cost. But it's not every shale that can actually commercially extract gas. There's a whole range of geological factors that are required for commercial success. The Beetaloo Basin not only ticks all of those boxes in terms of the key geological characteristics, but it is akin to, and in my opinion, in many respects, superior in those geological characteristics to some of the world's major US shale basins. And a basin that we are compared to regularly is the Marcellus Shale, which extends right through northeastern United States. That now produces 25% of America's natural gas. We have very similar characteristics to those shales. However, we've got thicker shale-bearing seams, and I think if you look at the results that are coming out of the basin already, we are seeing that this basin has the potential to not only match the US shale boom, but in my opinion, we could even see outperformance against that.
Well, touching back on the basin from a macro view, what infrastructure would be required in the Northern Territory to move gas to domestic or even international markets?
Yeah, so, it's one thing to have a great resource, but without a market, it's not worth much money, obviously. We are fortunate that we do not have that problem. So, it's rarely a day goes by that you don't see an article near the front of the newspaper about the gas shortages that Australia's east coast is facing. The Northern Territory market itself is very short of gas at the moment. And obviously, Asia continues to grow, and LNG demand out of Asia is not only growing now, but is expected to grow for decades and decades into the future. Gas is one of the fastest growing sources of energy in the world. We are very fortunate in the Beetaloo that we already have connectivity to markets. So there's pipelines running through the basin. We and others in the basin are planning to supply gas into the local NT market, utilising those existing pipelines. However, to really realise the potential of this basin, there will be a requirement for larger pipelines to be built to Australia's east coast and potentially up to Darwin in future. Been very pleasing to see APA Group really putting significant work into the preparatory works around the construction of a pipeline to Australia's east coast, designed to meet those shortfalls that are predicted in years ahead. But also we're very blessed that this basin has connectivity into two major LNG export provinces, one out of Darwin, where we have two existing LNG export terminals, one operated by Santos and the other by Inpex. But then also we have three LNG exports out of Gladstone that are currently being supplied by the coal seam methane fields of Queensland, and they will need more feedstock in years ahead. So, there's still some work to be done on infrastructure, but we've already got a very solid infrastructure base in place, markets that need our gas, and just getting on with the job of helping to supply those markets.
Alex, busy times, a lot of news coming. Thank you very much for joining Just Stocks, and I'm sure we'll speak again soon.
Thank you, John. Appreciate your time.